Welcome to another episode of Mr. Woodward's History Moments. There have been countless speeches that have changed the course of history, and today we are traveling back to 1863 to hear the 16th President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln, give perhaps the shortest, best speech ever given, the Gettysburg Address. So let's get this started and travel back to 1863 to hear one of the greatest leaders in history give one of the greatest speeches in history. Welcome. The Civil War has been going on now for 3 years, and it looked like things were not improving for either side. But just recently, at the Battle of Gettysburg in Pennsylvania, the Union captured an important victory over the Confederates. Oh, and it looks like we have breaking news coming from Mr. Woodward, who's on the ground at Gettysburg, where President Lincoln may be giving a speech shortly.
Thank you. I'm currently here at Gettysburg, where it appears President Lincoln is about to give his speech. And yes, actually he has risen from his chair on stage, and now we're going live to hear the President of the United States.
7 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty, and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now, we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation or any nation, so conceived and so dedicated, can long endure. We are met on a great battlefield of that war. We have come to dedicate a portion of that field as a final resting place for those who here gave their lives that that nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. But in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here have consecrated it far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will little note nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here. It is for us, the living, rather to be dedicated here to the unfinished work, which they who fought here have thus so far nobly advanced. This is rather for us to be here, dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion, that we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth.
Well, there you have it, the President of the United States of America giving a speech that lasted no longer than 2 minutes. He got straight to the point that all of us gathered at Gettysburg today were here to honor and remember those soldiers who fought and gave their lives in the name of preserving the Union. And I cannot say that enough. President Lincoln believed the soldiers who fought here sacrificed their lives for the preservation of the Union, to make sure the Union, those northern states, would be once again joined with the southern states. Back to you in the studio.
Here's where we take a break. Pause this episode and answer questions 1, 2, and 3 in your question guide. Again, make sure to pause this episode and answer questions 1, 2, and 3. We are back in the studio after listening to President Lincoln, who gave a short speech at Gettysburg. The theme of the speech revolved around the idea that the soldiers who fought at Gettysburg will be remembered for their sacrifice to keep the Union in one piece. We will see in the coming months how important Gettysburg actually turns out for the Union, and if the South eventually has to give in. That's all for us here in the studio, and we hope you enjoyed this broadcast from 1863. Have a great day, history fans.